Hey playa, welcome to another live stream here on my channel. For those of you that are new here, my name is Josh, and every single Monday through Friday, I make videos sharing tips, ideas, and stories teaching you how to be your best self. So I do want to kind of walk you guys through what we're going to be covering here on this live stream. I'm excited to talk about, for those of you that do know already, you guys will know what I'm talking about. My book here, Embracing the Awkward. This is the book that I wrote months ago, I think almost a year ago at this point, and I wanted to talk a lot about it. I wanted to let you guys know all week long I've been making videos kind of pulling out concepts from the book Embracing the Awkward here. And for those that don't know, this book is a guide for teens to succeed at school, life, and relationships. Those are kind of the three different topics and subjects that I tackle within this book. So if it is something you're interested in, I'm going to be walking through the stream. I'm going to be talking a little bit more about it. I'm going to be answering your guys' questions. So feel free to leave your questions in the chat. I'll be jumping back and forth, answering questions and talking about the book. I do want to say hi to the people that are on the chat right now, that are on the part of the stream. Give a shout out to the people that I know part of the early crew. Atlanta Boy, Lord of Luxury. What's up, Dabber Boy? Good to see you, man. Supo Kid, Zachary Salazar, Todama, Sans the Skeleton, Corey Mangan, Thomas Turner, Todama. I already said Todama. So there's a bunch of you guys here that are regular faces. It's always good to see you guys again. I'm curious to know how many of you guys knew that I had a book. If you knew that I had a book, write yes in the chat. If you didn't know, write no. I want to know how many people here were aware. I'm sure a lot of you guys are. I've been talking about it all week long. But I did want to kind of use this stream as a way to kind of really dive deeper into the topics by answering your guys' questions and talking about how in the book I cover those things, where I cover them, where you could find them. Because I think this guide will be super helpful for you if you're looking to kind of be your best self. If you're looking to kind of embrace the awkward and get different situations in your life together and kind of figure out how to navigate through them so that you're not weird, you're not nervous, you're not awkward, you don't run into these hurdles. How to kind of recognize that they're there, find a path going forward, and step over them. So I want to help you guys get through that. Horror Moore says he's getting it for Christmas. Awesome. Yeah, I mean, the book would be a great Christmas gift. What better gift than to tell your parents, hey, look, I want a book on self-development so I can grow and be a better person? What parent is going to go, nah, no, I'll get you an Xbox instead? Where can I buy the book? That's a good question, Jay. So the book is available on Amazon. It's also available in certain Barnes & Noble stores. If you want to pick it up in person at a Barnes & Noble's, you can always call. You can always also call your own bookstore if you have a local bookstore and ask them for the book. You can ask your library to order the book there too. But the book is available on Amazon, especially if you want to just order it and get the 2-day shipping, whatever. However, you know how Amazon works. But yeah, so I'm excited to talk about that. I do want to jump into you guys' questions. I want to give people a little bit of time to kind of start rolling in as YouTube sends out some notifications and stuff. Miss Danny Tiger says, hello everyone. Happy holidays. Happy holidays to you too, Miss Danny Tiger. So you can get the book Amazon. You can get it on Barnes & Noble. There's different places online as well. You can just order it. Target.com, I think, has it. Embracing the bananas, Corey Mangan said. So I'm going to look through here and see what some of you guys are saying here in the chat. Dabber Boy says he knew about the book. Atlanta Boy says school stresses me the F out. I hear you, man. We'll get into school. If you have a question about school, or you want to talk about what's going through, let's dive into school, man, because school's a tough one. Todama says tomorrow's my birthday. I'm gonna ask for that book. Awesome, Todama. Yeah, I think it'll be a great birthday gift, man. Aaron and Tinda says, sup guys, and Josh, how's it going, man? The real life, good to see you. So let me jump in here. So I want to start answering your guys' questions. Now, like I said before, if you have a question that I don't get to, don't worry. At the end of this stream, you can always leave it in the comments down after this video gets published, and I'll jump in there and answer it. So let's jump into the first question here. So John the Rocking Hamilton says, will school be normal if you just be happy with it? If you worry, school would be your nightmare? So I think what you're kind of asking here is that, like, if you stress out over school, if you think too much about it, if your mind is constantly on the topic of school, is it going to make it harder for you, right? So, if you're worried about getting a girlfriend or boyfriend, are you worried about making friends, you're worried about passing the test, all these kind of worrying moments, is that going to cause you to actually do worse in school? Well, it depends. I think it's good to worry to some degree, right? It's good to be concerned, to think ahead towards, okay, what do I have to do? What's on my plate? What year of school am I in and what's required of me? So for example, if you're in high school and let's say you're a junior, you might be thinking about taking the SATs. If you're, let's say, a senior, you might be thinking about going to college. If you're a freshman, you might be thinking about just getting comfortable with being in school, learning the ropes and figuring it out. So every different year of school kind of brings its own challenges. That's not to say school will be easy or hard, but it is to say that it will have its own challenges. So it's important to think about what those challenges are going to be. and not to allow yourself to be worried about them, but to kind of anticipate them. And the best way to kind of anticipate any challenges you're going to face as you're preparing for school is to kind of, one, if you can, talk to people that are older than you, see what their experience is like. For example, if you're a sophomore in high school, you might want to talk to a junior or senior and ask them, hey guys, what was sophomore year like? What teachers were good? What teachers were really difficult to deal with? What were the classes like? What were the tests like? What was it like for you as a sophomore? So the more you can learn from other people's experiences that have already been through what you've been through, it becomes a lot easier for you to kind of jump into that, because you're not jumping in cold. You're jumping in with some type of knowledge from someone else. So that might be a good strategy to help calm you down, help you not feel stressed out. Another thing too is that you may want to create a schedule and prioritize the different things that you're going to do in your life. For example, instead of just saying, I'll do homework whenever I get home, tell yourself, all right, I'm going to do homework from this time to this time. And then I'm going to sit down and eat dinner. Maybe this time I'll play video games. And then maybe an hour after that, I'll study or take a shower and read or do whatever it may be. But the more you can create a schedule for yourself to follow, it becomes so much easier for you to kind of feel like you have control over your own life, feel like you have control over your own setting, right? You can't have complete control, right? There are always going to be things throwing it off. You're always going to be busy sometimes. You're going to be dealing with drama. But for the most part, you can create a schedule that you can try your best to stick to, and that's going to help you stay a little bit more centered and grounded in what you're doing. Miss Danny Tiger says, "Is there an online version of the book?" That's a really good question, Danny Tiger. There is. There's an ebook version available on Amazon. So you can pick up the book on Amazon. This is actually the hard, on a hard copy, paperback, right? This is called the paperback, right? Paperback version. But there is an ebook version on Amazon. My goal is to create an audiobook as well to go along with it, that I can narrate myself, because I realize that audiobooks sound best when the person who wrote it narrates it, right? Like, I've been listening to different audiobooks, and like I listened to one by Mr. Rogers, and hearing it in his voice is 100 times better than like, this is an audiobook by this voice guy. Like, no one cares about that voice guy. So I do want to create an audiobook. I'm looking into how I could put all that together. But for now, there is an ebook, and there's the paperback version that you can order on Amazon. Super Kid says, thanks to Josh, me and my crush are now dating. You're the man now, Josh. That's awesome, man. I'm super happy for you. I'd love to know your story. If you want, leave it in the chat here. Tell us how it went about. How'd you talk to her? How'd you guys build that friendship? How'd you ask her out? Like, walk us through the steps so that everyone else here who's, not at that level or not sure what to do next can kind of learn from your experiences. I think this is a really big part of it, guys. A big part of life really is recognizing that we're not alone in what we go through. We're not alone in our experiences. A lot of times it's like, if you're struggling with something, or you're dealing with something that's putting a lot of stress and pressure on you, you feel like it's you against the world. You feel like you've got no one to depend on, no one to count on, no one to rely on. But the truth of the matter is this, it's that the more you start talking to people, the more you start learning their stories, the more similar you see that we all are, right? At the end of the day, we all want to feel safe and secure. We don't want to have to deal with stress and anxiety and fear. We want to know that there are people out there that care about us. There are people out there that want us to do well, that want to see us succeed. And then life isn't about tackling other people down and clawing to the top. It really is about growing together and learning together. So, if any of you guys have success stories or things that you're going through that you're proud of, leave it in the chat, because you don't know who's going to see that, who's going to read that comment and feel inspired by the things that you say. It's not just about me and talking on my channel and speaking and doing all these things. It really is a community here, guys. It really comes down to all of us helping each other learn and grow. I'm just one person. Your story, the story that you bring to the table, is just as valuable as anything I can share too. So the more you share, the more open you are, the better chance you have of helping someone else in need. Let's read through some of your guys' comments here. So Dabber Boy says, let me guess, your first GTA was GTA 4. My first GTA, I think, was GTA 2. I remember playing it, I think, on PlayStation. Was it PlayStation? I played GTA 2, and then when GTA 3 came out, I didn't have a PS2 at the time, so I couldn't play it. I had an N64. So, but I did play it at my friend's house and stuff, but I didn't have the game. GTA 4 was the first one I downloaded on my PC, and I played it there, and I actually played the game. But GTA 2, I played a rental version. I rented at the video store back in the day. GTA 3, my friend had. GTA 4 was the first one that I actually had. Thomas Turner says, I'm getting increasingly jealous of people who can flirt with my crush. You said you compare their confident self to my nervous self. Any other views? Yeah, that's a good point. So can I solve a 3x3 Rubik's Cube? Absolutely not. I can't solve any Rubik's Cube. They're tough, man. I've never really dived deep into them, but I'd love to one day. All right, so yeah, when we're talking about seeing other people flirting with your crush, that can be a tough thing to go through, right? Like no one enjoys seeing their crush talking to other people and then flirting. Like it's not a good feeling. So how do you deal with those feelings? How do you deal with the stress of watching your crush get along with everyone else, but yet you struggle with them? Well, like Thomas, like you said, it really is a matter of not comparing yourself to them because they're not directly your competition. Really, where the competition lies is in your own head, right? It's like they can talk to your crush, they can get along with your crush and then go on their way. But that doesn't help or hurt your chances of talking to your crush, feeling comfortable around her, opening up to her, starting a conversation. Like they have nothing to do with that process. That's all on you. It's in your head. You're thinking it through saying, okay, well, let me talk to her. Oh, there she's alone. Let me go approach her. Oh, she's with people. Let me talk to all of them. So instead of comparing yourself to other people, really think about what are the small steps I can take to make incremental improvements along the way. So if you struggle with talking to your crush, let's say you're at the beginning stages, and I mentioned this in the past, you're at the very, very beginning stages where you have absolutely no clue at all what to say to your crush. Like you see them walk by you and you're just clueless. I think the first small step there is getting comfortable making eye contact with them when you see them, right? If you're always looking down or looking away or never having any sort of eye contact, then they're never going to acknowledge you. They're never going to recognize that you're looking at them. They're just going to think you're a person in the sea of other people walking by. So you want to first get eye contact going so that they can at least acknowledge you, that they could see that you're there and that you exist in their world to some degree. All right, Lewis Gordon says, I'm currently texting my crush. How long should I text before meeting up? That's a good question, Lewis. It really all depends on how close the two of you guys are getting. If you feel like in texting her, you guys are getting along really well, you guys are responding back and forth, you're making jokes, you're flirting, I would lead directly into asking her to hang out. You might want to say something like, you're really cool to talk to. I really enjoy the conversations we have. What are you doing on Friday? Let's hang out and take this to, move this to the next stage of talking in person. You might want to be bold like that. If you feel like your crush isn't as responsive, then you may not want to jump directly into asking them to hang out because they might feel like they don't know you that well. But if you're getting along with your crush, there's no time limit. I'd say the sooner the better. If things are going well, move to the next step. So Danny Tiger's offering her advice here. She says, "Yes, do not stress. Worry, but do not stress, or else you'll have a study hangover. Finals are done. Finals are done. I'm exhausted." Yeah, Danny, I know what you're talking about. It's like final week, man. I remember I'm gonna do a video on finals week. I remember being in college, and it's like everyone was just like going crazy during finals week every single time it happened. I remember in college we used to do this fun thing where during finals week at midnight on campus we would do the midnight scream. So at midnight you just hear people screaming out their windows at midnight just to get out that stress, all that study stress. So it was a lot of fun. Just you're on the computer and you just start hearing screaming outside. It's like, oh, midnight scream, that's cool. uh, Chat jumped. See, I'm trying to pick them, guys. Just to let you know, I'm not intentionally skipping anyone's questions. I'm kind of just picking and choosing from the chat as I see them. So if I do miss your question, I apologize. You can always repost it, but don't take it as me ignoring you or not caring what you have to say. Zachary Salazar is asking tips for finding a relationship. That's a good question, Zach. I think if you want to find a relationship, it first comes down to finding someone that you can really, really connect with, someone you enjoy talking to, and that just gives you that good vibe, right? Like you just feel comfortable around them. I think that the best way to do that is to kind of cast a wide net. A lot of times people hone in on one specific crush and like they try to make everything work with that crush, and that's the only person on their mind. But I don't know if that's the best strategy. I think a better strategy might be to be talking to a lot of different people. Just get to know people, make friends, flirt with people, have fun. And as time goes on, you'll start to see who you connect better with, and you could start weeding people out till you're down to like a select few people that you really connect with. And then from that select few, you end up finding the one person you really want to build something with. So I think that's the best way to go about it. Just be open to communicating with lots of people and don't focus so much on one particular crush, because if that doesn't work out, you're kind of left scrambling, just not knowing what to do. So Boomer Bolt says, what is this? I'm not sure what this is, but this is a live stream where I do want to talk about my book. Oh, I almost dropped it. Embracing the awkward. So I'm going to tell you guys a little tidbit about this. So when I started writing this book, I worked with Mango Publishing. They're the ones who helped me put this book together. And in the very, very beginning, I was thinking to myself, well, okay, well, if I wrote a book, what would it be about? Writing a book is something I've always wanted to do, right? I just thought it'd be really cool to be able to have a published work, something that I've written. And I thought to myself, like, if I wrote a book, what is it that I want to say that'd be different from videos and things like that? And what I wanted to create here was more of a direct step-by-step guide as to how you can start making incremental changes in your life. And I've outlined that in the different chapters. So let me tell you guys what the different chapters are. So the beginning here, it's kind of hard to see because of the lighting. Let's see if I can get this at a good angle. I guess that's an okay. All right, let's try it this way, where the light is not on that side. All right, can't see it that well. All right, we're gonna do it like this. So yeah, these are the chapters, the beginning chapters here. We have the introduction here, and the introduction kind of just is a walkthrough of what my experience was like, my life growing up. I talked about in an earlier video this week about how I had my big awakening moment at college, in college, and I was sitting in my dorm and just like it hit me, and I kind of break down what that moment was about, guys. Yeah, no spamming, guys. You'll be putting time out. That big moment just hit me, and it kind of was so overwhelming, and it was so impactful, and it kind of really changed the whole trajectory of my whole life. So talk about that. I talk about what else did I talk about? Oh yeah, the question in college, my purpose growing up, what I thought about growing up, how I was an awkward and shy kid. That's the introduction. Then I jump into practicing mindfulness as the second chapter here. It's kind of hard to see. Still like that. Practicing mindfulness as the second chapter, because I feel like before you can start tackling other areas of your life, before you can find a relationship or figure out what college you want to go to or recognize your path and purpose, before you can do any of that, you need to be able to kind of recognize being in the here and the now. And I break down breathing exercises. In that chapter, I talk about different mindful activities that you can practice. So there are different things that I do. So for me, I have a morning routine that I practice every day. As soon as I wake up, I stretch. And the whole purpose there is just to kind of get the oxygen flowing in my body to, I've been lying in bed in one position all night. It's like just to get the blood flowing and the oxygen flowing in my body. And I kind of walk over to my room. I grab my daily calendars. You guys see me post every single morning. Let me show you here. You guys know all about my daily calendar. If you guys see my Instagram stories or my Snapchat stories, I always post this all the time. And the first thing I do is kind of look at what my daily calendar is, see what the quote is, and then I go brush my teeth. And I think about that. I think about the quote. I think about what it means to me, how I can carry that goal throughout the day. I think about how I can carry that goal throughout the day, and then I record the videos for you guys. Hey guys, today's daily goal is this. And to me, that's my morning routine, and it's a very, very therapeutic kind of experience for me because while I'm brushing my teeth and getting ready in the morning, thinking about the quote, I'm just really being in the moment. I'm thinking, like, okay, today's quote is about kind of. Let me read it. So today's quote was, "When I listen to my inner self, I hear the answers I need." I wanted to read it so I can get it full context. So listening to your inner self, and I thought, okay, well, what is my inner self telling me right now? Okay, oh, my body's a little tense because I just woke up from sleep. I'm a little groggy, but I'm going to get better as the day goes on. I just started to really dive deeper inside, and I think, what am I feeling right now? What am I thinking? What am I experiencing? And having that moment of inner peace, having that moment of kind of being in the here and the now allows me to jump into the next stage of my life. So it's like the things, like when you wake up in the morning, you're not thinking about the things that are stressing you. It's only as you start to go throughout the day, you start to feel a little bit stressed out. So I'm just reading what's going on in the chat. So as the day goes on, you start to feel a little more stressed out. So by practicing mindfulness, I'm able to kind of relax, be in the moment, kind of enjoy the experience of what I'm doing. And then I can dive into my work. And then I can dive into the things that I have to work on. People asking how old I am, 31. I just turned 31. I did a birthday stream on that, maybe like November. So how long that was? 3-4 weeks. I don't know. But yeah, so that's kind of the first two, the first chapter essentially is the introduction, but the first chapter is practicing mindfulness. Second chapter here is recovering from failure. I'll talk a little bit more about that after. I want to answer some of you guys' questions. Like I said, my book, Embracing the Awkward, is available on Amazon. You can pick it out, blah, blah, blah. Perfect Christmas gift. You guys know the drill. Let's get to questions. So I want to hear what you guys are saying. All right, Trippy 8D Music says, Josh, there's 3 girls I'm interested in, but all 3 are taken. They've been taken for a while. Any advice on this? I think you guys know where I'm going with this. If you guys know what my answer would be, leave it in the chat. I'm curious to know how many of you guys have heard me speak on this topic. You like someone and they're dating someone. What do you do about that? If you kind of know what I'm going to say, leave it in the chat here too, but I'm going to say it anyway. If your crush is dating someone and they're in a relationship, it sucks, right? It's a sucky feeling. It's like, that sucks. But at the end of the day, it's so important to recognize that if a person chooses to be in a relationship, even if they're a crush, even if you like them, if they're choosing to be in a relationship, then all you should want is what's best for them, right? Because if you were with them, you'd want that too. Now, it really comes down to recognizing this person is making a choice to be in a relationship, and that's okay. I'm going to support their relationship, let them be happy, let them be fine. Now, if they break up and that my crush is single again and my crush is not dating anyone, then by all means, of course, I'm going to go talk to them. Of course, I'm going to go ask them out and see what's going on. But until then, I think it's so important to respect their relationship, to not get in the way. And even if they've been dating, all 3 of your crushes have been dating someone for a long time, all the more reason to start talking to different people, man. Put yourself out there, talk to other people. Sakura says, I love your channel. Thank you so much, man. I appreciate it. I hope you enjoy the videos. I hope they're helpful in some way. Hopefully they're helpful in moving you along and being your best self as you grow and learn. Oh, so Sakurai followed up and said, update from the last live I was in. I overheard my crush saying that he likes me too, but he doesn't know that I know. However, I think his friends like me and he chooses not to do anything because they're friends. That's a tricky situation right there. Very tricky. I think at this point, Dabber Boy, it's right. I do post it in the YouTube community section too. I started using YouTube stories as well, guys. If you're interested, you'll see my face pop up in the YouTube stories. I'm trying to think of different and creative things I can bring to that. I don't want to just post the same thing on everything. I want to use YouTube stories as a something different. I think what I'm going to do with YouTube stories is I'm going to use it as more behind the scenes and getting ready to do videos and stuff like that. I think it'll be a lot more fun. Either way, back to the question. So your crush likes you, but their friend also likes you, and that makes them stop, right? So this kind of goes into what we talked about in the past, the bro code, essentially, which is like when, like you never step on your friend's toes when you like someone, right? Like, hey, listen, you like them first. I'm not going to go after them. I'm going to respect that. In this situation, though, I think it's important that if you like that guy, right, and his friend likes you, you have to start approaching your crush. You need to show your crush that you're interested in him. Now, since they're friends, the most important thing to recognize is that since they're friends, the most important thing for them to recognize is that if your crush recognizes that you're going after him and not your friend, the friend should say, all right, dude, she's chosen you. Go for it, man. But it's important for you to step up and talk to your crush and to ask them out. I know that's intimidating and weird and scary, but if you want to make anything happen, it's going to come down to you taking that initial step. So Chicken Lead says, I saw your story while it was a Mr. Rogers thing, and I was wondering what it was, maybe a book or shirt. I wasn't sure. I think you might be talking about I have a shirt, a Mr. Rogers shirt. But I also went to I went on the Mr. Rogers trail not too long ago. I'm gonna be posting pictures on my Instagram about that. Where I saw the statue of Mr. Rogers, I saw the figure in the Pittsburgh Museum. I visited the original set. I saw the original kind of set design. It was really cool. So I'm going to be posting more pictures on that. But yeah, I'm a huge Mr. Rogers fan. All these quotes are Mr. Rogers quotes. What is this? All these notifications coming in. Stop it, phone. I'm a huge Mr. Rogers fan. He's one of the main inspirations for everything that I do here, on how I speak, how I talk, how I think things through. So Mr. Rogers is kind of my thing. It's part of my thing, part of my being, I feel like. But let's see. I want to answer a few more of your questions. I'm going to jump into the other chapters of the book here. In case you guys don't know, after these live streams, I'm sure a lot of you do already know, but after these live streams, we always do what I like to call an Instagram after party. So what's an Instagram after party? Basically, what that is this: that after I finish the live here, I jump over on Instagram. My Instagram's the Josh Speaks, so you can go follow me over there. I jump over on Instagram. I do another live stream. It's kind of a post-game live stream, and it's an after party. So it's a little bit more laid back, relaxed. But what's really cool is that I invite you guys on to video chat with me, so we can video chat on Instagram, while everyone else is commenting and sharing their opinions. But it's just a cool thing to kind of have a face-to-face interaction with you guys. So if you're interested in joining the after party, definitely follow me over on Instagram and catch me on that after this. But all right, let's get to a few more questions here and then get back to the book. I'm seeing a lot of the mod wrenches here. All right, Cons says, I'm in university. I like this girl in class. We've been good friends for about 8 months now. I really have the strong urge to tell her. She says that she's not ready to date. Should I still go for it? Okay. So you guys have been good friends and you have the strong urge to tell her that you like her, but she's not ready to date. I think that her saying that she's not ready to date might be a way of her telling you that she doesn't really know whether or not she likes you yet. She's not really sure. Here's what happens a lot of times. It's that people develop friendships and maybe you have a crush on that person, but because nothing happens, because it's not leading to anything romantic, the friendship just keeps being built as time goes on. And what ends up happening is that your crush, right, in that instance starts to tell themselves, this person is my friend. Like, that's what I see them as. That's it. So, as time builds on, if you're not making moves, if you're not flirting, when you do eventually come around and say, hey, I like you want to go out, you might throw that person off guard. They might feel like, whoa, I didn't expect that from you. I thought we were just friends. Like, in my mind, I categorized you as a friend. So it's tough to deal with. It's tough to kind of really recognize that in some instances, that like, oh, well, I've been talking to them for 8 months. We've been friends for 8 months. Should I tell them that I like them now? Because if you haven't really been building up kind of flirtiness, it's going to be difficult. Now, in this case, if she said that she's not ready to date, it might just mean that she doesn't have those feelings for you. So you need to start changing how you interact with her. You need to start kind of treating that situation a little bit differently, and how you talk to her and how you approach her and how you joke around with her. What I always recommend doing is saying something like, when you see her the next time, say something like, there's something different about you. I don't really know what it is. There's something different. What is it? I'm just like really drawn to you for some reason. What's up with that? Because in that moment, what you're doing is you're establishing that you don't see her as just a friend. There's something else there and you're picking up on it. So you're kind of establishing that. And then once you say that thing, from that moment on, it's flirtiness all the time. Flirtiness every time you interact with her. You want her to recognize that your interaction with her is built on you wanting to build something with her, not just on being a platonic friend. Harmore says, you've inspired me for over 2 years now. Thank you for amazing advice and helping me and so many people. Thank you so much, Harmore. It really does mean a lot to me. And to everyone else here, it means so much to me to know that you guys allow me into your lives. You're open to sharing things with me and talking things through. I feel very grateful and privileged to be able to be in this position where I can hear you guys out and listen to you guys and offer advice and help in any kind of way. I feel like, each one of you brings something so special to the table, right? You bring something so special to the table. You don't even realize it. That it's like, it's everything. It's your story, your experience, your honest being and self. And I appreciate that so much every single time I talk to each and every one of you. So thank you guys for being a part of my life as much as I feel grateful being a part of yours. All right, let's do one more question, then back to the book. I want to tell you guys a little bit more about the other chapters because I think they'll be super helpful. See, who haven't I answered? Daniel Donovan says, how do you create sexual tension? That's a good question. So I think, have you watched the Avengers End trailer? Sometimes other questions catch me as I'm getting ready to answer. All right, I have seen the Avengers Endgame trailer. It looks amazing. I'm super excited for the movie. All right, how do you create sexual tension? Well, I think there's a few different ways. There's the physical approach. There's the verbal approach. The things that you say, the things that you don't do as well can create sexual tension. So a good way to create sexual tension, I believe, is being flirty. So how do you be flirty? I think being flirty is a little bit of kind of like teasing the other person, poking fun at them, and then kind of boasting and gloating a little bit about yourself, in a way where they know you're not being serious, that you're just kind of like busting chops and stuff like that. So you might want to say something like, oh, wow, you look really good today. I mean, not as good as me, but you look pretty good. Saying something like that is like, it's so arrogant, but funny. It's kind of in between. It's not all the way out there, you being a jerk. But it gives that person a reason to kind of respond back with the little quip and say like, oh, please, you wish, something like that, where the two of you guys can have that kind of tension building there. When it comes to being physical, I think it's more a matter of being a more physical person with people, right? So if it's a matter of like touching people's hands, patting them on the arms, being more of a physical person. Now, the key important thing here is to always recognize people's boundaries with physicality. A lot of times you may tell yourself, I'm gonna be a physical person. I'm just gonna touch everyone. But some people don't like to be touched. Some people don't like to have anyone's hand on their arm or touching them or doing anything like that. So it's important to pick up on people's social cues and to see where they stand, because otherwise you might run into a situation where it's like you're making them feel uncomfortable, but they don't want to say anything. And in your mind, you're thinking, oh, this is great. They like it. So it's important to try to really, really pay attention to people's social cues. That's why the physical piece is a little bit different. I feel like you can be a little bit more physical with people once you've gotten to really know them and they've opened up. Because once they've opened up, they might start to just be more relaxed with their body language. And that's something you can pick up on as well. Zachary Salazar says, tips for coming out to others I haven't told. That's a good question, Zachary. That's on my list of videos. I want to do a week dedicated to LGBT themes. So how to come out to your friends and family is one of them. What is that process like? Now, I've known people and I've spoken to other YouTubers and other people that have had those experiences. So it'd be more so me kind of relaying the things I've learned from people who have come out and done things like that. But ultimately what I've learned from their experiences is basically this. It's that one, it's that you have to recognize that other people might not always be in a place where they're willing to accept others. So if you were to tell someone, hey, listen, I'm gay, hey, I'm lesbian, or hey, I'm trans, or whatever it is that you're coming out as, the other person may not be ready. And it doesn't mean that there's anything wrong with you or that you're doing anything wrong in how you're saying it. It might just mean that for them, it's such a change in their perspective, a worldly perspective, that they may respond negatively, or they may be sarcastic, or they may dismiss it. So it's important to I've said important to recognize a million times, but it really is crucial to know that the most you can do is offer your honest self here. And if someone else isn't ready to accept that, that's okay. Because the point is that you're being true to yourself. You're not telling them to hurt their feelings or to make them feel bad or to ruin their life. You're telling them because you want to have a deeper and better connection with them. That really is ultimately what it comes out to. What comes to be, right? When you come out to someone about anything, you want to know that you can be honest with them and that you guys can kind of move forward in a way where there aren't any challenges built on that thing. So one, feel proud of yourself for feeling comfortable and ready to talk and share that with people. And two, as you tell them and you let them know, hey, this is how I feel, this is what I think, this is what I want to do, be open to recognizing that they may take time to process that, right? Not everyone is immediately going to say, oh, cool. Like, people take time to process things. So don't always take it as them being hurtful intentionally, because that might not be their aim. A long-winded answer, but when I make the video, I'm going to kind of be a little bit more succinct about that. Okay. I want to tell you guys about the other chapter here, because there's a few chapters in this book. The second chapter in this book is recovering from failure. So I did a video this week on failure and rejection. I put those two together in one video because I felt like it was something that I think is crucial and helpful for you guys. But when I talk about recovering from failure, and I'm really happy that a lot of you guys left comments there talking about strengths and weaknesses. I think it's a matter of, like I mentioned in that video, failure really is measuring yourself by someone else's standards and determining that you failed, right? So if I'm trying to run a 100-meter dash and I don't make it, let's say I don't make it in time, or I just do it too late, I may feel like I failed, right? I failed because I was using a criteria, a standard, like do it in 5 minutes. I don't know. Do it in 20 seconds. I don't know how long it takes to run a 500-meter dash. I don't know. If any of you guys know, leave it in the chat here. But page 27 scares me. What's page 27? Oh, yeah. All right. I'll read a little bit from page 27, guys, since Atlanta Boy mentioned it. No, it's nothing. I'm teasing you guys. Nothing too scary, or is it? Anyway, so you know, we determine our failure based on a set standard that we are trying to meet, and we just don't meet it. So it's important to recognize that when we're setting our own standards, and where we can be flexible with them, and whether or not a standard we're trying to meet is the end all be all, right? So for example, let's say you're studying for a test, and you tell yourself, I need to get a a 90 on this test, or else I'm a failure, or else I suck, or else I'm just worthless. And you get an 80, or you get a 70, or something like that. You might tell yourself, I'm a failure, I'm worthless, I'm horrible, like everything is bad. But at the end of the day, you have to recognize, okay, take a step back. Let me look at it from a higher level here. Is this the end of the world? Can I learn from this experience? Can I grow from it? What can I do better next time? Asking those questions are so much more helpful than beating yourself up because you didn't do something that was good or bad. You didn't do something that you wanted to. So I think instead of kind of focusing so much on your failure, think about what are the stages of recovery? How can I learn from this experience, and how can I grow? So that's something I want you guys to spend a little time thinking about. Let's read a little bit from page 27 of the book here, since it was pointed out here. Okay. Okay. I'm just reading through. Oh man, yeah, I remember this. All right, so let me give you guys a little bit of context. I took a class in college that was like a video class, right? Like video editing, stuff like that. And our final project was to put together like a 10-minute short video or something like that. Now, me and my brother decided we're going to put together like a comedy skit, kind of like a sitcom kind of thing, right? So we met up with our friends, we recorded it. It was a whole big thing, a whole lot of fun, just a lot of fun putting it together. Now, at the time, I didn't have a lot of editing skills. I didn't really know how to put a lot of things together well, but we put something together. We scrapped it together. We submitted it for the class, submitted it and stuff. And at the end of the semester, all the projects were going to be displayed in a big theater, right? Like there was a theater on school, and the teacher, the teacher's like, okay, everyone, we're going to play all the projects so that everyone can see their projects in the big screen. So invite all your friends, invite your family, make it a big thing. So I told all my friends, guys, drive out to Long Island. I was in Brooklyn, drive out to Long Island, which is about an hour and a half or so. They all drove out. We had them in the theater. And we're watching the movies, and they end up playing not the movie that we submitted for the final, but the movie we submitted that we put together like in the middle of the class. And we're like, what the heck? That's weird. Why did they do that? So at the end of that whole thing, I remember walking up to the teacher, curious as to why they didn't show our final project. And I'll read here from the book. I'll read here this little piece here, guys. My brother and I told everyone about it. So 2 cars full of people drove up to our school to watch the debut of our comedy web series. The only issue was that they never played it that night, leaving all of our friends dumbfounded and disappointed. I felt confused and embarrassed. So I approached the professor at the end of class and asked why she had not shown it, only to be told it was pretty bad, but you can watch it now if you want. The theater was empty by then, and my hope of creating a web series was crushed. So she told us that we can watch the video once everyone had left, and it was the end of the night. So it was so soul crushing, because if she would have told me beforehand, before that night, hey, we're not going to show it, that it's not that good, I would have been fine. But because we had all of our friends there, I felt so embarrassed and hurt and just torn down. And I felt like I never want to make a video ever again. This just sucks. And just to continue here, the crushed feelings were short-lived, however, because soon enough, my friends and I got back into creating skits for YouTube. I started to feel like this was something I could really do, something I could spend the rest of my life doing, because it was so much fun to bring stories to life like that. We continued making skits until our comedy dreams had come to the same fate as our wrestling. Everyone had other priorities in their lives. So in this chapter, this is the introduction. In this chapter, I'm really talking about how, like after that class, me and my friends had our YouTube comedy channel. And as time went on, people stopped caring, right? My friends started to get involved in other things, and that ended up falling apart too. So again, I thought my YouTube career at the time was over. I was ready to give up on YouTube. This is well before the Josh Speaks ever came into play, guys. And I talk about how I got into the Josh Speaks and all that in here. So if you do want to know that whole story and where the Josh Speaks came from, I break it down in the book as well. Let's jump back into some questions, guys. I do want to share some of my answers on questions. Okay. Just reading through some of your guys' comments here. So Michael Pro says, how can you be more interesting to get your crush to like you when they are not interested in you? So really when it comes down to how can you be more interesting? I think the way to be more interesting is this. It's that first you want to just be authentic in the things that you like, right? You don't want to like things just because other people like them, because what's going to end up happening there is that like if you're faking liking things just so that people will accept you, it's that one, you're going to feel miserable. You're going to feel like, this is not really me. And you're just playing this fake part. And two, that you're only going to be able to go so deep into a conversation, right? Like if you're faking liking something, you can only talk about it so much before you hit a wall where the other person's like, you don't really like this thing, do you? Right? You can only fake liking sports or fake liking video games for so long. So I think what it comes down to is this: it's that think about the things that you like, be willing to share that in conversation and talk to people about it, but also be open to asking and learning about things from them. People get really excited when they're able to talk about the things that they like. If you give them that opportunity, they'll talk about them. So ask questions, learn about things. You may not be an expert, you may not know everything in it, and don't pretend like you do, but be open to really, really learning from other people's experiences and the things that they like, because that's going to make them want to keep you around. They're going to feel like, wow, this is a person I can talk to, like they're really easy to share things with. And I really like their energy and the vibe that they bring to the table. Thomas Turner says, can you link to your old comedy channel? Sure, I can. If you guys are interested in checking out, we still have a bunch of our old skits and videos up. It's called Alliance Adventures on YouTube. So you can definitely check that out. That's a funny, it's our old comedy things. Every year, by the way, I put up a Halloween movie that we did. Every year we do a Halloween movie. So that's a new piece of content. One video a year on that channel. But if you're interested in seeing me dressed up as our Iron Fist, Marvel's Iron Fist, you go check that out, guys. Okay, Corey Mangan says, how do you talk to your crush after 1.5 years of knowing each other and she has people around during lunch? So what do I do? So how do you talk to your crush when they're surrounded by people, when they're just always with people? Well, here's what I would suggest doing. You need to get comfortable talking to the entire group. I know that feels weird, and I know that may not be what you want to do, but your crush is there with their friends, and your crush is already relaxed and kind of in the moment, just being there with their friends. If you walk in and you just talk to your crush and ignore the friends, they're going to notice that. And they're going to feel like, who is this person? Why are they talking to only them, not us? And it's going to make things weirder because they're going to feel left out, right? Even if there's a lot of them, they're going to feel left out of that conversation. So by you engaging with all of them and talking to all of them, no one feels left out. No one feels weird about it. And it becomes much easier for you to really, really just really dive deeper into getting to know each of them, so that the friends of your crush can support you. The friends of your crush can go, wow, you're a really cool person. And then when you want to talk to your crush on your own, they'll say, yeah, sure, go talk to her. Like, you're cool. We know you. We've gotten to know you better. Go for it. So they'll support you. They'll be on your side and help you get towards that goal. Dabber Boy says, I like hanging out in the chat. It's fun. I know. I love having you guys in the chat. We have a lot of fun here. Miss Danny Tiger says, Josh, do not get kidnapped by Disney. They'll put you in 10-year contract. I think I'm a little too old for Disney. I need to be like 11 years old. Like 11, they lock you in those 10-year contracts, and then you're in like 5 Disney shows and like 2 Disney Channel original movies by then. Have a music album, everything. Helen says, what's a simple way to talk to your boyfriend in person without it being awkward? That's a good question, Helen. I did a video a while ago called How to Not Be Nervous Around Your Boyfriend or Girlfriend. That video might be something you definitely want to check out. But if you're around your boyfriend and you want to talk to them without being awkward, I think what's important to do is, it's that when you're in that very, very beginning stage of a relationship where you guys don't really know each other that well, learning about each other is the most important thing that you can do. So Helen, check out that video. And then also, if you're interested, if you search on YouTube, type in 20 icebreaker conversation starters. And I have a free guide that I've put together with 20 conversation starters, 20 questions that you can ask a person to really get to know a little bit more about their personality. And what's cool about that guide is that it's not just questions, it's also the follow-up questions. So for example, if I ask you something like, so what's your favorite movie, right? Like, you say your answer, but then on that guide, it has a listing of follow-up questions. Okay, if they tell you their favorite movie, you might want to follow up and say something like, when did you first watch it? Or, who's your favorite character from the movie? Or why do you like it so much? Or I've never seen it. What's the story about? So there are good follow-up questions in that guide. It's just called 20 Icebreaker Conversation Starters Guide. Look it up. It's a video on YouTube that links to the page. But that's something out there to help you out. So I would suggest that. Thomas Turner says, how much overthinking is too much? That's a good question. How much overthinking is too much? Well, I think when it comes to overthinking, oh no, the return of the bananas, guys. When it comes to overthinking, I think that when you find it holding you back from taking any action step, that's when it might be a little too much, right? So if you think about something for a little bit, you need a little bit of time to kind of think it over, that's fine. But if you feel like you're thinking so much that you take no action at any time, then it might be a problem there. Rogue R0UG says, how do you annoy someone, Josh? That's a good question. I don't know if I would advise annoying someone. I think that you annoy someone. Essentially, what makes a person annoying is when they're not capable of recognizing what they're doing to you, right? So if, for example, let's say someone's talking to me and I'm saying, hey, can you please be quiet? And they keep talking to me. So that person not acknowledging that I'm asking them to stop, that's going to be annoying because it's out of my control and I feel helpless there. So I think sometimes we may do that. We can do things that are annoying. And I think it's important to always try your best to be self-aware of how you're interacting with people, what you're saying, because you may be annoying someone. You may not know that you're doing it. All right. A few more questions here. I want to answer one more question, and then I'm going to jump into the next chapter I want to tell you guys about. Miss Danny Tiger says, I meant Marvel, but that still sounds horrible. That's true. The Disney contract, Marvel stuff. Next on Disney Channel, Josh's World, and I'm like a older brother to like a 10-year-old girl who's like a mechanic. She's like a mechanical genius who has all the powers to fix things, but I don't know. It's a secret. And she has a secret friend who's imaginary, and together they go on adventures, and I'm the dopey older brother. Like, that's a Disney show right there. Oh, it's pronounced Rogue. Rogue. Okay. Rogue. That makes a lot more sense than what I'm saying. Rogue? I don't know. Thank you for clarifying that. Fortnite Frostbite. I'll answer this and then I'll get to the book again. Hello, Josh. Can you make a video on how to get a girlfriend, get girls to like you if you have if you have ADHD and or disability? I don't think your tips will help with something that you can't control. Please stop, skip. Please stop, skip. Not sure what that means, but so yeah. So if you have a disability, how can you still talk to people? How can you get a girlfriend and stuff? It can be a little bit more challenging. Definitely. I'm not going to say it's not, because I think especially when you're young, when you're someone that's in high school or even in middle school or even in college to some degree, that the people around you aren't as open or as kind as they like. As you get older, as you learn more, your capability of being more aware of what's going on grows, right? Especially when you're kind of going through your teenage stage into your adult stage. It's like when you're a teenager, you think everything is funny, even if it's cruel or mean and stuff. You'll say dumb jokes. It's just the way it is. So it's very difficult sometimes for young teenagers to be aware and okay with someone who has a disability. It's very hard for them sometimes. I personally believe that it's something that we can help teenagers kind of work through and feel more comfortable with, but a lot of teenagers aren't, because they don't have those influences in their life that are helping guide them in that way. It doesn't mean that it's impossible, though. You can definitely come across a girl who's very open and very understanding, very patient with you. I think what it comes down to for Fortnite Frostbite is being open about what you're experiencing, right? So not like as soon as you meet someone, hi, nice to meet you. I have ADHD. I have a disability. But as you get to know them better, feel free to talk about what your experience is like, what you're going through, and then see how they respond, see how they interact with you on that. And that's how you'll start to see whether or not the two of you kind of mesh well and the two of you can kind of build towards something. All right, Rogue is trying to get a chant going. Let's see what the chant is. All right, so let me tell you guys a few of the rest of the chapters here. I'll just walk them quick because we only have about 10 minutes before I jump on Instagram. So I talked about recovering from failure. So these are the other chapters in the book, guys. Let me put it up here. This is my book, by the way, if anyone here just joined, Embracing the Awkward. It's available on Amazon.com. It's a guide for teens to succeed at school, life, and relationships. I wrote it for you guys, so I'd love for you to check it out. The other chapters here, we have managing and overcoming rejection, understanding compassion, creating healthy relationships, building confidence, and embracing the awkward. Those are the chapters here. So I want to kind of just highlight a little bit here. So when I mentioned rejection there too, but when I talk about understanding compassion, really is a matter of practicing kindness with others around you, because we're gonna run like all of us run into situations where people are gonna push our patience and they're gonna test us and they're gonna piss us off. And it's so important to be compassionate in those moments, to recognize that the person who's on the other end that's bullying us or making fun of us or just being mean, the person on the other end might not be aware of what they're doing, right? There are so many people that are just mean and they're not conscious of that. They're just reacting. So to be compassionate means to recognize that on the other side, there's always a person there, right? No matter how mean they are, no matter what they say, there's always a person there. And it's like the most we can ever offer someone is just that loving kindness, to recognize that allow me to forgive this person. They don't know what they're doing, that maybe there's something I can teach them here. Maybe I can set the example as to what kindness looks like. And in seeing me be kind, they may question and they may look at their own situation and act differently. So it's important to be the example that you want to see in this world. And that chapter, understanding compassion, really dives into it. The other chapter here, creating healthy relationships, I think that's one that a lot of you guys can benefit from. That's chapter 5 here in the book. And that's all about building relationships, asking someone out, how to get to that stage. In this chapter, especially, I start from the very, very beginning, which is the 3 key steps that you can take to get comfortable with someone that you don't know at all. So that's something that I talk about in that chapter. I think it's super helpful because if you're someone that's struggling with looking for a relationship, feeling comfortable talking to your crush, feeling comfortable talking to your boyfriend or girlfriend, you just don't know how to have a conversation, that's the chapter that's going to be there for you. The other chapter in here is building confidence. That's another one that I talk about, speaking up when you feel like something is wrong. So tomorrow's video, guys, is all about building inner confidence. Tomorrow's video is going to go dive deeper into that topic. But ultimately, what I want to say there is that when it comes to building confidence, when it comes to being a confident person, it isn't so much about displaying that confidence in a way where you're brave and nothing shakes your foundation. That's what we think a lot of. When we think about confidence, we think about someone who's unshakable. But the truth of the matter is that you're confident in recognizing that you're human, recognizing that you have weaknesses and flaws, recognizing that, but still, despite all of that, being open to changing and learning and growing. That's real confidence at the end of the day, guys. And I break down why that is and how to get to that stage. So, and then the last chapter is definitely embracing the awkward, which is really just a pep talk. It's like if I had to sit you guys down, it was the, my college commencement speech, and I had to tell you guys something. That chapter would be the one that I would really dive in and just share my final thoughts with you guys on. But I'm going to jump back in and answer a few more questions here. So just Ben says, "Hi, I'm an English middle schooler, and I basically just got friend zoned by this girl. What do I do?" All right. Good night, Danny Tiger. So sorry to hear that, Ben. You got friend zoned by this girl in school. I think that in a situation like that, you have to ask yourself that, are you okay with just being friends? If you're not and you want to build a relationship with her, but she's not ready for that, that's okay. That's her choice. She's allowed to not want to build a relationship. But it might be easier for you to kind of focus your attention away from her and just to talk to other people. Because a lot of times when you get friend zoned and you still stick around the girl that you like, your feelings don't go away. They intensify. You start to like them more because you want to make it work, even if they don't want to make a relationship work too. So I would suggest kind of focusing on other people, talking to other people, kind of to take your mind off of being around her so much. So Joy 475 says, "Hey Josh, how do you let go of grudges of certain people and places? Kind to show, let loose the upset emotions and to be calm and chill." Oh, kind show to let. Okay, so I think I understand that question. So basically, the first part is, how do you let go of grudges of certain people and places? Yeah. Letting go of grudges is tough, guys. When you're upset and someone's really digging in and bothering you and just hurting your feelings and making you feel bad, how do you let go of those grudges? How do you move on? I think it's important to recognize that. So there's a story of the Buddha, right? I think I've shared this story in the past, but the Buddha was home, and a man was angry that the Buddha was talking and sharing things, and he was just jealous and angry with him. So the man came knocking on the Buddha's door one day, just banging on the door, open up, open up. I want to give you a piece of my mind. I want to yell at you. And the Buddha didn't open the door. The man kept banging it and banging on the door, banging, 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 open the door. I'm pissed off and stuff. The Buddha just sat there. Eventually, the man left. Maybe an hour later, the man comes back, banging, 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 open the door. How can you do this? How can you not answer the door? This is not cool. I want to tell you off. The Buddha finally opens the door. And when he opens the door, he tells the man, you came to my house with anger, right? And the man's like, yeah, I'm angry. I'm angry because you're doing this. And the Buddha says, and I chose to not accept your anger. I chose to not carry your anger. And the man's like, yeah, so? And then the Buddha said, and at the end of the day, by me not choosing to be a part of your anger, you walked away with it. You walked away hurt. You walked away angry, not me. So from that story, I think the learning lesson really is that if someone brings hurt and anger to our door, we don't have to accept it. We can choose to just ignore it, to move on from it, to recognize that another person doesn't get to determine how we feel. They don't get to tell us how to feel. We get to choose how we feel. And if that person is ready to bring it to our doorstep, let them walk away with it. Let them walk away with their anger. Let them walk away with their annoyances. If someone's bothering you or someone's annoying you or someone's picking on you, recognize that you don't have to engage, right? They want you to engage because they want to get that anger off of them. They want to put it on you, but you don't have to engage. You can just calmly ignore them. You can calmly walk away. You can recognize that they don't determine how you feel. You do. And allow them to just kind of peace out with their own problems. So that would be my kind of suggestion there in terms of dealing with people who are trying to get under your skin and just really get to you. Miss Danny Tucker says, I'm turning 21 on December 19th. Merry Christmas. That's awesome, Danny. Your birthday's in just, what today, 13th? 6 days, Danny, 6 days. Corey Mangan says, I will buy and read the book, but I have no patience in reading books anymore. No problem, Corey. Like I said, I'm going to try to put together the audiobook at some point, but definitely check it out. If you are going to buy it, read it, even if it is just picking your one chapter that you feel will be helpful for you. I feel like if you guys read one chapter, I think that can give you everything you may need to kind of move forward. So Thomas Turner says, will you ever consider starting to do your live streams on Friday? You may get more viewers from Europe. That's true, Thomas. The reason why I don't do it on Fridays is usually because by this time I'm kind of going out and doing stuff and kind of like once Friday rolls around, by the end of Friday, I'm kind of like checking out of Josh Speaks, checking out of work, and kind of just going into my relaxing mode. I like to take the weekends to just kind of relax and be in the present moment. But maybe I'll try it. I'll try it on a Friday next time or sometime around and see where it goes from there. Why won't you read my question? Todama, I missed your question. Let's see. How do I get into a relationship without ruining the friendship, even though I'm not using her for a relationship? That's a good question. Here's my honest answer there. In trying to build a relationship with someone that you're friends with, you risk losing the friendship. It's a guarantee because what you're asking for is to change the dynamic of what you guys have. You guys are friends right now and you want to take a chance and put it as something else. You want to take a chance to make it a relationship. That always comes at the risk of losing the friendship. If that person isn't ready, they don't want to go to the relationship section, they can't just go back to being friends with you because they know you like them. It's going to change the whole dynamic there. So if you really, really want to build a relationship with someone, you really want to ask them out, you really want to see where things can go, at the end of the day, you have to tell yourself what matters more to you, maintaining the friendship or building a relationship. That's the key question there. So, all right, I got 1 minute left, about roughly 1 minute. I like to keep it within an hour, but we're always flexible on time here. If you're not already, follow me over on Instagram, guys. My Instagram is the Josh Speaks. Oh, that's Roaming Millennial there. It went to the feed. All right. Follow me over on Instagram. My Instagram is the Josh Speaks. And I will be going over there after the stream for the Instagram after party. All the cool kids are invited. You're cool. Everyone on the live stream here is cool. You guys are all invited. So Corey Mangan says, my dad will die from a disease he has at some point. I'm so sorry to hear that, Corey. Losing a parent and losing his father especially is so incredibly tough. I can relate. I've been through that experience. My heart goes out to you, man. If you ever want to talk, you can always shoot me a message. and I can offer my advice and just be there to listen to you, man. Hear whatever's on your mind. Hear what you have to say. Michael Prope, happy birthday to your dad as well. So I hope he's doing good. All right, guys. Here are my final thoughts here on embracing the awkward. So I've said this already, but I'll say it again. For anyone that is new, I wrote a book. And this is a guide for teens. And when I say teens, I don't just mean middle school, like 10, 11, 12 years old, 13, 14, 15. This goes well into college. If you're in college, this book is also a book you can check out because I talk about discovering your path and purpose. I talk about my college experience. I wanted this book to kind of be a precursor for people that are in high school, in college, even in middle school, and you're thinking about where you want to be as you get older, right? For me, a big part of it was when I was in high school, it was thinking, what do I want to do when I get to college? What do I want my life to be like? And what do I want that experience to be like? So I kind of really go further than just the teenage years into more the leading towards the adult life. So if you're someone that's in college and you're wondering, oh, the book's for teens, trust me, this book is super helpful. It'll help you out too in college. I talk about my college experience. But in writing this book, I feel like I learned a lot about myself. I learned a lot about how I can formulate my ideas, how I can talk about things. And it's something I just wanted to share with you guys. So like I said, the book is available on Amazon. If you do end up buying this book, I just want to say this. If you end up buying this book, I want you to take a picture of yourself holding it. Take a picture of yourself holding the book. Send it over to me and I will feature you on my Instagram stories. I have a whole section there of the highlights of people who send me pictures of them with the book. I put on my highlights. I love showcasing you guys. I love supporting people who are supporting me. Like I said, the book would be perfect for anyone who's looking at a Christmas gift, or if you're looking to ask your parents to get you a Christmas gift, this is a good book. Really, it's like I said, if you tell your parents, hey, mom and dad, this is a book that is all about how to build a purpose in life, how to be kinder, how to be more compassionate, and it's something I want to learn, like what parent is going to say no to that, right? So I think it's something you should definitely check out, guys. I think it'd be super helpful for you. Thank you so much for being a part of this live stream. Just my final thoughts there is that what I learned from the process of writing this book is that if there's something that you want to do, whether it's make a YouTube channel, whether it's ask a girl out, whether it's apply to a college, whether it's anything, guys, if there's something that you want to do, go for it. And if you feel like you're not ready or you don't know how to approach it, trust me, there's so many people out there that want to help you, that want to see you succeed. I'm one of those people. I want to see you succeed. So you can always reach out to me, or you can reach out to someone else that's on the chat here. A lot of people in this chat are available. They're all part of the Discord. In case you guys are wondering, you could join the Discord. Just go to thejoshspeaks.com/Discord. And there's a whole team of people there. We're all coming together to help each other grow and learn. So if you feel like you're just at that point where you don't know what to do, you don't know where to take the next step, trust me on this, guys. You can do it. I believe in you. I know you have what it takes to be somebody great. That's what my shirt says. Actually, you can be somebody great. It's one of my Josh Speak shirts. That's a whole nother week of videos where I talk about each of the shirts and the value behind each of them, but that's a separate thing. Watching Josh without the sound on, right? Then it's just the Josh is muted, the Josh silence. Can I please get a shout out? Cody Castellanos. Absolutely, Cody. Thank you so much for being a fan of the channel. It really means a lot to me that you support me. All right, guys. Let's go on over to Instagram. If you're not following me over on Instagram, instagram.com/thejoshspeaks. Head on over to Instagram. Like I said, book is available on Amazon. Just type in Embracing the Awkward, or you can go to thejoshspeaks.com/awkward. Check out the book. Guys, thank you so much for being a part of this. I'll see you over on Instagram. And on that note, guys, I'll catch you tomorrow. As always, love and peace. See you guys next time.